my dad was a newspaper man. He worked at the small paper in our hometown, and then moved on to the Hartford Courant in Hartford, Connecticut, and was a sports writer and columnist eventually for many, many years. So I was raised in a family where reading a newspaper was something you just was part of every day, and he was my dad, and so I thought it was really neat, the stories he would tell about some of the folks he got to meet and the places he got to go. And so that got my interest in journalism. And I worked with some really good people. You know, Chuck House, who I'm sure has been mentioned in these videos through the years, was the advisor to the students on the OU Daily, and kind of a crusty old school newspaper man, smoking a cigarette all the time, and just a tremendous influence on my life at an early age. And I got my first job out of college at the Duncan Banner, and I'm grateful to a man named Ed Darling, who was the general manager there for many years. He took a flyer on a 21-year-old kid, hired him to be a sports writer, and that's what got my start. So, you know, I went from the Duncan Banner, which was a fabulous place, to the Associated Press, which is the largest news gathering organization in the world. And because of that, I was able to then become the sports writer in Oklahoma for the AP, and as a result of that, got to cover unbelievable sporting events in state and out. I got to cover several Olympics, Final Fours, meet a lot of great men and women in the company and around the world, really, because of my association with the AP. So that was just I'm forever indebted to Robert Shaw for giving me the opportunity. And then I worked with Lendell Hudson, who followed Robert as the bureau chief, and he was a great guy too. And the biggest story I was ever part of was, of course, the Oklahoma City bombing. I mean, I think anyone who was in Oklahoma City at that time in the media would tell you that that was the biggest story they've ever covered. And you know, that was just a phenomenal time to see how the Associated Press, you know, we went from an office of 7 or 8 people in Oklahoma City to that night, the night of the bombing, we probably had 40 people in that office space from all over the country who had come in to cover that story, and many of them stayed for weeks as it all unfolded. And to be part of that, I mean, you knew early on that this was a big deal, and of course nothing has eclipsed it in terms of scope. And I was honored to be part of the AP team that covered that for as long as it did. I mean, I need to mention my wife, Lori, who still puts up with me 41 years later. But you know, being the spouse of someone in media can be really a challenging thing. We're raising a family, we have 4 children, and a lot of the work, the heavy lifting, fell to her, because I was either working at the AP, you know, you work a lot of nights, a lot of weekends covering sports, and so I have to thank her, because she could have at any time said, look, I'm a little tired of these hours and this and that, and go to the Final Four, you're gone a week, and I've got 4 kids underfoot. And so she was always by my side. And I'm just grateful to all the people who guided me and helped me along the way at various levels. Those people I mentioned, but also just colleagues. You know. I've been very lucky to know a lot of good friends, make a lot of good friends in journalism.